We back and we back. Zeus P, Tank Jew. Let the light in, man. It's the 2-hour lunch break, dog. I'm locked in. So turn your speakers up a notch and grab the white gin. And when I'm on the road to the office or the crib, it's Big Zeus, St. Jew, the ones I wanna hear. This is that 2-hour lunch break live from Lady Bird J. Lake.
Coming to you live, putting on for the city.
This is that 2-hour lunch break live from Lady Bird J. Lake.
And it's coming home to Texas. It's coming home all the way to Austin, Texas, baby.
We are back with another edition of Season 5 of the 2-Hour Lunch Break Podcast, a podcast from Austin, for Austin, shared with you around the world. I am Saint, one half of the 2-Hour Lunch Break Podcast, and I got my co-host,
Trywell Zeus.
and we've got an amazing, talented guest in the building today. We are thrilled because we've been trying to get this gentleman to sit down and talk with us for a while. Schedules haven't been able to match up, but we're here today. We are here today. He is not only a talented model and actor, but a multifaceted, experienced marketing specialist who's making waves in the industry and began in his professional career in 2019, hailing from Newport News, Virginia, and spending most of his childhood in Jacksonville, Florida. He has brought a unique blend and charisma and professionalism in a wide range of projects. He is here, coming from various different locations, probably a military brat, but you never know, right? Texas, Georgia, New York, right? 2 years of entertaining in the industry and done various of huge accomplishments. A huge accomplishment of his, and one he can attribute participating in the Mike Beauty Model and Talent Expo with J3 Productions. Thanks to this, he has worked with major brands like Amazon, Dell, Arena Sports, American Campus Communities, Giant Foods, Discovery Card, Facebook. This man's resume goes on and on and on. A FAMU alum. Gotta give it up for my brother, A.B. Abyon. Welcome in the building. How are you doing, sir?
I'm blessed, man. Hey, thank you for that amazing introduction, man.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate y'all for having me on here. The name is Abyon. So my name is Abyon Asar McInnis. I'm an actor, model, experiential marketing specialist, mentor, and a former educator, just to name a few things. Definitely have worn many hats, and I appreciate the homework and made me feel like I've been doing a little something.
No, you
A
were,
little bit of something, man. So, starting off, man, I want to say, we appreciate you, taking time out of your busy schedule. Just like you said, you're a man in many hats. You got a lot of pots on the stove, man. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Let's start off with your background, right? So I know we were talking about you were born in Newport News, Virginia. Spent some time in Jacksonville, Florida. Mm-hmm. Talk about the your experience in these places and like how did they shape you as a person?
So Newport News, that's just my place of birth.
Okay.
They breed a lot of greatness out there.
Gotcha.
Shout out to AI.
Yeah.
Okay. But I didn't spend much time there. I bounced around, and I am not necessarily in the military, but my mother was in the military for a small period of time. Okay. So that did kind of lead to some of my early travels. I lived in Boston with some family for a small period of time. Okay. I lived in Jersey. And my mother, she was pretty young when she had me. So, just moving with different families to different convenient situations and things like that. And I say Jacksonville is really where I kind of got planted, around 5, maybe 6 years old or so. Me and my mom were able to connect. She got out the military. So that's where I really turned my corners. I'll say Jacksonville's definitely shaped me as far as just, everything you see today. I always tell people I'm just a young bull from the Ville. The swag to the education to the skill sets. Yeah. You really you got to learn how to carry yourself a certain type of way out there in Duval. So I appreciate. Yeah. Shout out to the city, man. Nonetheless, Jacksonville's a good time for me. I got into different things as far as music. I did that in high school. I played alto saxophone. That's what kind of led to me taking that route, going to FAMU. Mm-hmm. I've been playing basketball there my whole life. I played in lots of little just random leagues growing up, junior NBAs and YMCAs, and really just big into the sports scene. Florida's huge on football, so everybody want to be a superstar something. Yes. So we spent a lot of time just outside as a kid. Right. And Yeah, that's a little bit about Jacksonville.
That's what's up.
Man,
So you talked about going to FAMU, right? We know you graduated cum laude, and with a study in education, correct? Elementary education.
Yeah.
What made you choose that field?
So my original major was technology education
Okay.
when I went to FAMU, but they ran into some budget issues and ended up just cutting maybe like 10 to 15 majors over a summer. And that was around the time, after you finish your prereqs where you're transitioning into your actual coursework. Right. So, kind of just a decision had to be made. Was I gonna, do a complete pivot and, go into another field or, kind of stay in my lane around education. And, I just thought it would be a good move, just knowing me, my skill sets, what I enjoy, and just to take that route in education. I had some really good friends who worked as kind of like ambassadors for the college education. They worked in the Candidate Empowerment Center, and they were just kind of like, yeah, we can help you get right, get together. We can show you what you need to know to pass the, the state examinations. We'll get you right with your test scores and everything. So, I had a good support system, and I say back when I was in middle school, I kind of was like, I think I could do the teaching route if I ever were to, pick a profession. And I kind of shied away from it, once I realized there was no money involved in education. Family wasn't really super supportive of the idea of me going in education. And at this point in time, it was just kind of an idea. And it was nothing more than me wanting to be like a PE teacher. I'm like, hey, they get to come to school and hoop every day.
Yeah. Right.
Play football every day.
Like the perfect career to me.
I'm like, hey, your job is kind of all right. I can do that. Yep. So that's where the idea first came from. But, in the moment, once the major got cut, it became a real situation. So, thankfully I had that good support system. They helped me kind of get my stuff together to get into the college education. And then from there, I was up and running in the field. I was, young black man in education. I'm kind of well spoken a little bit. Yeah. I can clean up nice. So they kind of used me as the poster boy. I was Mr. College Education. Okay. Which is kind of like it's kind of like, again, like another ambassador, but more so on a school level. So I would go out to the local elementary, middle schools, represent the school, speak at little homecoming events, things like that. The college education is doing something new or innovative in the college education. Right. We maybe trying to get the new students to know that we're here to support them. I worked as a tutor and a mentor in the Candidate Empowerment Center. So pretty much my job was, I did what was done to me as far as, how people brought me in. I became one of those people. I took that same job on and, was able to just help people. I tutored in math, science, social studies, writing. I want to say I had one of the highest passing ratings as far as the people that I actually tutored, and as far as them being able to pass the general knowledge exams, which was really huge. And it's even more huge now. The state of the college education in FM right now is not really great. Gotcha. Now a lot of people aren't really passing through the program successfully, and it's because we don't really have a lot of people doing what we were doing, which is pouring into these kids and getting them ready prior to getting in there.
Transition.
Yeah. Okay. But so education was just kind of the lane I ended up in, and stayed with it and got hired right after my internship, and from there I kept it going.
Gotcha. Okay, so kind of shifting gears from education to modeling, right? So I know you signed with the Brown Agency in 2018. Yeah. I know you started working professionally in 2019, right? So as a working model, what was it like transitioning into that industry? What were some of your early challenges when you were first trying to break in? What was that like?
Challenges are really just opportunities for growth. And for somebody who didn't really know much of the industry, it was really just kind of exploring a space more so than running into huge challenges. It was more so how do I figure this out? Or how do I get in this room? Or, what's the sauce behind all this? And prior to getting into the acting and modeling space, I was working in experiential marketing. So that kind of laid a foundation as far as how to network within the city. I'll say it like that, as far as tackling some of these strategies that became really relevant after the pandemic, because people weren't outside networking. It's how do you connect? How do you find your market? Whether it's a photographer or somebody looking for a model, how do you connect with them? And the answer is the internet, So I kind of really was already in that space of learning how to navigate the internet as to find employment prior to going into the industry. So once I got over there, it was just kind of like, all right, well, I kind of have the recipe for how to do it. Right. But what do I do now? I'd say the earliest challenges though was probably the pandemic itself. Yeah. It just hit the industry over the head, and everything kind of changed overnight. Yeah. Not to say that I was super seasoned prior to the pandemic, but the days of showing up into an audition room don't exist anymore. So there's,
right, yeah, you gotta get it, and then you gotta get it another way.
Yeah, absolutely. So just coming up with different innovative ways to approach the hustle, I feel like was the challenge, And for somebody who didn't know much, it was just like, hey, keep shooting. Keep shooting. Eventually you're gonna score. Then I started to find a recipe to the success. And then when you show up, just staying present. But I'd say the biggest challenges for most people is getting booked and staying booked. Let's see. Trying to think of something else, something I might have really been like dealing with. Like, it was tough to kind of embrace the idea, like, is this what I'm really doing?
Okay.
Coming out of education, never been I've worn many hats, but I've never been an entrepreneur per se.
Right.
So it was just like, am I having fun with this? Is this like, is this a lane? Is it just a hobby? Then it's like, I'm showing up on sets, but then I'm seeing people recognize me and they're like, hey, man, you doing this. Like, I'm just like, yeah, I'm shooting. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm in the gym.
I'm in the gym. I'm getting some reps up, but, nothing too serious right now.
Right.
Still just trying to find my feet. But just being able to embrace it and now just go like, hey, you doing this now. Like you are professional. Like, you are a working actor or a model. You do auditions. You have agencies. You're repped across the country. But I'd say early challenges probably just figuring out how to get connected. But once I figured that sauce out, sky's the limit.
So you talked about getting connected. Now we already know you're in ads, right? Indie films, other films, and other commercials and things of that nature. Can you give me maybe a favorite project that you've worked on that you like? Yo, this
right.
Was,
top
this
two,
was
top
dope.
three.
This is dope. Said top three?
Yeah, top
favorite.
three.
All right. Some really dope projects. I mean, it's been a really good year. I haven't necessarily been working a whole lot, but the caliber of projects has been really amazing. Gotten a chance to be on set with some awesome people, some bigger celebrities and things like that. Not to say I'm ever like a fanboy or anything, but I do appreciate being able to be around people in a certain space,
Sure.
So this year I was a stand-in for Drewski on a project.
Okay.
Granted, it was a real regular, normal day of work for me, but I just thought that was really cool to be able to, be there on set with him, connect with him a little bit, chop it up. Real funny guy. I was also on another set this year with Travis Scott, and that was cool. And the real cool part about that, why I would bring that up, is because it was playing basketball, and it was for Jordan. So I've been playing basketball all my life, and Jordan's been an iconic brand, ever since I knew what a basketball was as Jordan. So to be able to play basketball on a commercial set of that caliber with a celebrity, appearance as well, was just a testament to the work. Granted, you never know how everything's gonna come full circle, but ball's still life. You're still getting these reps in, still getting these shots up, man. And that was really nice. And let's see. And just as far as like a good quality project, I just shot something recently for Canon that just released earlier, probably last week. They had a new release for one of their cameras, and it was just a nice bridal shoot. And that one was really important because when I started doing these bridal shoots, I really didn't know what I was doing. I just got hired randomly off of either a Facebook group, might have did it for free. $50 an hour, just something. Yeah. And, I showed up, and it really, I showed out. I say it like that. I was helping people get like featured in magazines, and stuff was getting some notability on the internet. So more people were reaching out to do more bridal shoots. So to be able to do a shoot for a company like Canon, a camera company, and it was a photo and video, so just a really nice project, and it just really encompasses a lot of the work that's been put into that scene, just learning that space, and also incorporates not just the modeling but the acting side. So it was nice to be able to do that, be able to show up on a set of that caliber, and be able to deliver, most importantly. you got 30, 40 extras being a wedding audience. Then you got the whole production team. Then you got, it's just a lot going on. Right. So just being able to show up and execute is such a blessing. We put in work behind the scenes, but at the end of the day, it's like, when the pressure's on, you're gonna go back to your highest level of training. Right. So So it's like, have you been in the field or not?
That right.
Exactly. Yeah. Sure. Okay, man. Okay, so I got a question I've been dying to ask you since we first started. Right.
All right, talk to me, man.
All right, man. What is an experiential marketing specialist? Like, for the average person that don't know, can you explain to people what that means?
Absolutely. Like, I'm glad you asked, because I had the same question. Like, when I first got into the industry, I was brand new, didn't even realize what I was doing when I was doing it until I got there. And then I'm like, wait, is this what y'all do? Like, this is y'all job? Like, how long you been doing this?
Right.
But just take the root word. When you talk about experiential, what's the root word you hear there? Experience. So essentially, experiential marketing is the experience behind the marketing. Okay. You have your traditional marketing, TV ads, radio, billboards, things of that nature. And then when you talk about experiential, you start talking about your trade shows, your conventions, your live activations that you'll see at like sporting events, Essence Festival, DreamCon, things of that nature. When you in those spaces and people are like, how does this brand want to connect with you? And at the end of the day, it's called experiential because, they want to leave you with a feeling. So it's not just about us telling you there's a new product coming out no more. It's like, hey, we want you to come experience this product, experience our brand, better yet. Right. And, the experiential marketing specialist just comes from it's a wide umbrella. When you talk about experiential marketing, you have brand ambassadors, you have field managers, you have production specialists, you have producers. There's just so many things that you can do in there. And I've just been able to, in a short amount of time, be able to just explore a lot of different avenues of that. And, I'm just well connected in that space. So, that is that.
Yeah. No, I can't even lie. I'm kind of captivated when he was talking about the experiential.
Right. Because you think about it, you're like, I've experienced that.
Right.
Well, it's like when you go to a thing and they just give you something out and like, you walk away and you're like, man, whether you was eating something or you took a picture or they sent you something to your phone, it was just like, it's a little bit more to it than just the messaging or the product. It's like, man, we want you to feel great. So they hire people who are charismatic, who have good interpersonal skills, who are willing to, step up in front of people, or, you don't always have to be the center of attention, but someone who's at least willing to, step out their comfort zone and do something. Right. Sometimes it's more sales oriented, but you never really know what space you're going to be in, and that's the kind of the beauty of the space. I get to explore so many different industries, and it only helps me for what I do on the back end as far as an actor and model. 1 week I could be doing a tech event, I could be working DreamCon, I could be doing South by Southwest, ACL. I get to explore so many awesome places, meet people, network, push my brand, you know what I mean? Yeah. But, it's a great space to be in. Yep. And that's what kind of really gave me the foundation to be able to explore modeling and acting, because Austin is just a great city for events. It's always a football game. Always. Right. And every football game, I could find a job. Right. Like just, You've ever been like down Bevo Boulevard and you've seen like all those activations and stuff?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You throw a football or something like that. Yeah. That's my lane.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So with that being said, you're talking about the marketing aspect and just specializing in that. How do you go about approaching like a personal brand and building that brand, so on and so forth, with yourself in particular?
I'll say I'm still learning, still exploring the idea of exploring and building my own personal brand. But I say most importantly, just image is everything. So keep the optics clean and let the work speak for itself. Right. That's just kind of the space that I'm in right now. Coming from education, it was always important to have a good image as far as how you carry yourself, whether that's, in the city or on the internet. Your digital footprint is real. Right. And as far as the type of stuff you'll see from me online, hey, it's work, it's positive things, it's good image. Right. And I don't necessarily know the actual sauce to it all, but you know, I'm a good person. I put out good energy. I you know, get good stuff back in return, and you know, just share that, and from there people just see that and they resonate with it, and you know, I just kind of let the power of networking do what it's supposed to do. Right. I think that's the biggest key for you know, really personal branding, because your brand is you. So if you don't maintain and establish relationships and, you know, go out of your way to, you know, create opportunity, then yeah, that's it's your loss.
Right.
Kind of got me thinking back to your earlier question about earlier challenges.
Oh yeah.
It's just like I didn't really know how to make a portfolio, and I started thinking about it when I started thinking about how to be innovative with the approach. Granted, you know, figuring out online was great, but also just the power of networking and being willing to go, like, you know, what's something I might be able to do for free right now that might be able to help me later. Kind of like those bridal shoots. You know, I would do you know, stock photography shoots, TFP, which is like trade for prints, where you trade your time, somebody else will give you a print for the shot. You know, so I was building a portfolio, and I think a thing that really did something that I didn't really realize it was, like, I was sending a message. I was a professional before I even knew what I was doing. You know, like, people were seeing me and they like, oh nah, this is one of our best ones.
Right.
I ain't really know I had no motion until somebody told me, like, oh, I went to interview with an agency that you used to be with, and they were like, oh, they loved you.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, you one of their best people. And they showed me your pictures and profiles, and I'm like, hey, so you know what I'm picking up and putting out. It's not just working for me. You know, so it's working for my friends, my peers. You know, I become a go-to guy for a lot of my friends. So, you know, I get to use my mentor and education skills to help elevate my friends and who are all in the same space. It's been a beautiful thing, honestly, man. Yeah.
Okay.
Got a little sidetracked with my.
No, you good. Yeah. So I was gonna say, I know, you know, doing our research on you before we got started, man, I noticed you got a lot of credits to your name. You got like, including that though, like, you got like credits from like major brands. Like, a few of those include Amazon, Dell, Facebook, right? So with that said, I'm curious, how do you go about choosing the projects that you take on, and what do you look for in you know, in a collaboration?
It's a great question. That's a really good question, actually. And I say there's a few things that you want to think about with every project. First and foremost, it's like, you know, what's the compensation looking like? What's the take home? What's the take home?
Right.
Is the take home, you know, is it content? Is it an opportunity? Is it the network? Is it, you know, the actual amount you're getting paid?
Right.
So you really have to be able to evaluate each and every project for yourself, as far as your skill set, your availability. So the worst thing to do would be to take on a job and not be able to execute. You know, take on a job you telling somebody you ready for, but casting directors and people in this space usually do a good job of figuring out who the right person is for their job. They have a good process, usually, but not always. Sometimes everybody's taking a risk on somebody. But when it comes down to, like, what matters, so I'd say let's think about it like, you got the product, you have the network, then you have the income, like, that you could get. I'd say you want to be checking 2 of the 3 boxes. Either like, either financially, you want to know like this is a good exchange for my time. I'm willing to show up and give you whatever you said for this amount, first and foremost. So if that piques your interest, take the job, show up, do it. Don't complain about it when you're there. They said they need you for 10 hours. You said you was gonna do it for $200. Show up and do it for $200. You know, if they said it was $2,000, cool. But be okay with what you're getting paid. If the pay isn't looking good, that's where you have to start going, all right, where's the other take home for this? Who am I working with? If you've seen some of their work before, if it's a quality production, if it's something that you could go, I don't have anything like that in my portfolio, this might be a good use of my time. I might not make a lot of money on this, you know, but you know, I get a chance to get into a movie, potentially a, you know, supporting role or a lead role, and I get to work with some amazing people on top of that. It's like, I might get to learn a thing or two. For somebody like me, I'm like, if I can, just to be around some amazing actors is just, it's such a blessing. You know what I mean? So when you can get in those rooms around people and watch people work in that space, it's mind blowing to me. Just from even listening to a director direct to watching the sound man come in and make sure he holding that the boom mic the right way, not dropping it throughout a moving scene. You know, so it's just a lot to learn, and I'm a big sponge when it comes to the learning game. So being on set is just a great space for me. But you want to check 2 out of the 3 boxes. So either the pay, the network, like as far as who you're working with, or the product, like the take-home piece of content. And then, you know, because you got to figure out how to utilize the content on your side, whether you're making reels or, you know, posting stuff in different spaces. You just got to really get innovative in that approach. But you gotta make your profiles look good. You know, people only looking at an online profile a lot of times. So how do you stand out? It's good content. So
Got it.
So what about when you're talking about content and creating more content? Do you have a particular role that you're looking at? Maybe something that you want to be featured on in the future? A show, episode, even a movie?
Like James Bond.
Oh,
I'd say
like James Bond?
Right,
Bro, that would be
hey, I'm handy with the steel.
He said, you know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
You say, I definitely could see me doing something like that. I train a lot of different things, so I'm not too sure what's gonna pop off per se. But you know, I think for me, it's just exploring the space. I really just enjoy being, you know, not at a destination, not just starting. I'm like, hey, let's have some fun with it. Let's learn. And there's just so many things to learn as an actor, because the work of it is really working on yourself. And you know, even with these roles, like to be a James Bond, it's like you gotta know how to shoot, you gotta know how to move, gotta be a stunt performer to a degree. So you know, I've had some stunt training also, and you know, things of that nature. It's like, hey, you just keep putting it together, and I know it'll come together in a way that's positive. I'm not necessarily sure what that role is going to be, but I'm such a well-rounded and diverse person. Like, I'm a chameleon. Like, you know, I can put on the businessman. I can let you know I'm from Jacksonville too. You know, I just want to explore, be challenged. I think that's more important for me than anything. Any role, it's like, where's the challenge? Like, you know, whether it's challenging to go learn a new skill set, or just being like, you know, I haven't been given this opportunity before to digest a script that was 100 pages or 50 pages. You know, like, hey, until I've met a challenge that, you know, I can't do, I'm just showing up and doing the best I can. But you know, I've been showing up and getting good feedback. So I think this industry will definitely see more of me. I think there's a lot to learn, which is exciting, because I get kind of bored real quick when it comes to like work and doing things real mundane and staying stagnant. There's just so much to explore in this space. It's really kind of tough to say like, oh, I got it all figured out. Like, there's so many lanes. Like even people who look at my portfolio sometimes, they're like, it's different. Like, it's not like, you're not like my friends who act out in LA or New York. They're like, you be doing other stuff. I'm like, bro, I'm just trying to eat. You understand? Like, I'll do an industrial. Industrial is like a company-based video, like an internal video for a company. So you may not ever see that. You know what I mean? So everything's not glossy, you know, everything don't shine. But you know, it's nice to be able to, you know, go do a company-wide video, like a training video, or, you know, be like, hey, do's and don'ts before, you know, hiring or whatever, you know, acting out scenarios. So it's fun lanes, from that to commercial to film, to the, like you were talking about with James Bond. Like, you gotta know how to move like James Bond if you're gonna be James Bond. But you know, if anybody looking for a James Bond,
hey,
holla at your boy.
Holla at your boy.
I get in my bag. Serious.
Live and direct. You heard it here first. I got another question, which you sparked in my mind about being, you know, there's some signature places in this world, right, quote unquote, where actors, models, photographers need to live. LA, New York, right? I'm pretty positive. I mean, you know, I don't live your life, but I'm pretty positive somebody said, yo, you need to be here. Why aren't you here? Why are you here in Austin? So I know you have a response for that. What's your feeling? What's your sentiment? My thing is, I'm never chasing any type of, I mean, I chase opportunities, but I'm not like gung-ho about any particular goal or destination. I want to enjoy the process. And for me, that comes with a peace of mind, that comes with a good network, and
some of those things I've been able to create here in Austin, Texas. Who would have known? And not to say that this is home for me. It's always seemed like a transitional spot for me, and I could just be here to develop as a talent, you know, and that could be the next move. But I'm really big on just taking my time when it comes to certain things, and I'd rather let opportunities guide me than feelings to just up and go. Now, could I go and succeed and take the risk? Absolutely. But do I necessarily want to go be the struggling actor at, 32 years old? Like, you know what I'm saying? Granted, we still struggling. We still trying to get it. But, Austin, Texas or LA, let me find my lane. Let me learn my craft. Let me really dial in. And I think that's what's keeping me here. It's a cool space that's lower risk. It's a playground. I'm not a union actor, so I can work jobs for independent people who just be like, hey, I need somebody for this, or somebody hit me up for a random photo shoot for that. It's just like, it's nice to be able to move freely in knowing that I still have so much to learn. I'm like, hey, I don't want to shoot myself short and jump into the big leagues if I'm not ready. You hop into the, let's just say you've been playing semi-pro ball. That don't mean you're ready for the G League,
right?
Which don't mean you're ready for the NBA,
right?
So just because you got you got a couple buckets in the G League, don't mean you deserve a 10-day. So it's just like just really taking my time, and I want to make sure I'm ready for what's next. I got big visions for me as far as the future goes. I don't necessarily know how that's gonna come together. Like, it's not like I want to do this one thing, but I know I'm gonna be in a lot of spaces. I'm gonna be a leader of people. I'm gonna be a networker. You know what I mean? So, learning how to speak, learning how to just polish up and just be of a higher caliber, higher cloth. That's really what I'm on right now.
Yeah. That's what's up. Okay. So I'm curious, man. So work-life balance, right? So I know the life of a working actor and model can be kind of all over the place, schedule-wise, right? So with that said, how are you able to do that and also manage the relationships in your life, like your family? I don't know if you got a significant other or not. Like, I don't know, you got your friends. How are you able to make all that work and still do the job that you want to do and have the career that you want to have?
Okay. I just believe in just showing up the best you can every day. I'm not hard on myself about any mistakes that I make or any opportunities that I missed. I'm a big believer that what's meant for me is going to be mine. And as far as the people that I keep around, I'm going to find a way to show up for them, especially the ones who show up for me. So it's just really just a matter of staying in tune and just trying to make sure I'm at peace. I think that's the key right there. As far as just responsibilities, we prioritize what needs to be prioritized first as far as making sure things are paid and taken care of. But outside of that, I keep things simple, man. I'm a real simple guy. I don't have a significant other or any children right now. So with that being said, my bandwidth isn't always stretched to its limitations.
Got it.
I'm a former educator, so I do have a pretty high bandwidth of being able to keep up with, 20 to 40 kids and details about all of them. And now that I'm not in education, I can use that bandwidth on myself.
There we go. There we go.
So I think some of that has really helped me be able to manage, I'll say, as far as just like relationships and work. But it's always a challenge, staying at peace, staying locked in, being able to show up and deliver. So I try not to let myself get overwhelmed. I really stay tuned in, and I try to do things that I enjoy. I travel a lot. I play games with my friends. I play Call of Duty with my man.
Right, yeah, you was talking about that.
You need a shooter, come holler at me.
Yeah.
There we go.
And play a lot of basketball. So I still explore a lot of my personal interests. I might pick up the saxophone and just, have some fun with it, just to stay on it, keep my mind stimulated. I believe in constant growth. So, I feel like the challenge of it as a man, is how do we expand? How do we take on more? We always get thrown responsibilities, but so nobody cares if we're not able to deliver. They just like it when you do.
Good point.
Yeah, no.
So I just make it a habit of executing and showing up and trying to be the best I can, whether that's a friend or a business partner.
And you talked about earlier saxophone, some of your personal attributes, and we did our research.
Yeah, man.
So we know you're part of the FAMU marching band, 100 marching band.
Hey man, shout out to the Marching 100.
And also, in addition to that, Universal Basketball Association (UBA). What do these experiences outside of acting and modeling influence your personal life, and how have they?
I mean, those experiences literally take you to the places that you go. But real quick, I did say shout out to the 100. It's also Dr. Chipman's birthday. Shout out to Shelby Chipman, the director of bands,
Shout out.
Marching 100.
Okay.
Big day for him. So I hope he's doing well and everything's great over there. And as far as these experiences, man, you just never know what room you're gonna end up in, man. And like I believe in being well-rounded, like I was saying earlier. So it's like I'm just playing saxophone one day, then it's like I'm in the Marching 100 the next day. Now I'm playing at a Super Bowl, So like I've been on the field at a Super Bowl game when it was in Florida. So it's just constantly a random life of great experiences, man. I end up in so many rooms with so many people, and I wouldn't trade any of them, honestly, for the world. Being able to travel as a musician, I've played as a church saxophonist, like part of a band. Never solo. I wasn't that nice. I was good. I could read some music.
Yeah.
But nah, you ain't catch me like on the jazz. I ain't him yet. But yeah, all these things, man. Basketball, I've taken me so many places. Even to the work that I'm doing now. Like I played on basketball for a Jordan commercial. That's a huge highlight for me.
Right.
And it's like as a 32-year-old man to still be able to play the game and be able to move. Might have lost a step. Jumper might have lost a couple points, but we still out there. We work. We work, to say the least. And I'm still at it, man. I've gotten a chance to travel to a few places and play basketball in a few places, which I'm extremely grateful for. Whether that was off networks of my friends, I've gotten to play in tournaments out in Mexico, out in Colombia. Going to compete actually this upcoming weekend out in Atlanta, Georgia, in a championship for the Universal Basketball Association. So just staying active, man. Our team out here, the Austin Greeners, we were able to win this region. So we're going to compete against some winners of other regions. You got your Georgia region, Florida region, and I think Atlanta has their own home region because that's where it's based at. But yeah, man, the game's still showing me love, so I'm gonna just keep showing love back. And just keep showing up, man. Keep getting these shots up. And I'll probably be playing basketball until I can't play anymore. So
gotcha. Yeah. Okay, so all right, piggybacking off of hooping, right? So
yeah,
what kind of player are you? Just eyeballing you, I see like a combo guard. What's your game looking like?
That's not a bad. What can I ask you? What gives you that impression? Let me ask you.
Okay, so I know you said you're not playing like G League, NBA, but for an average guy walking down the street, you got some height on you.
Oh yeah,
right. You got some decent height on you. I see you kind of slim. You probably a ball handler.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I see you could probably play one or two. You can interchange either one, just depending on what the team needs.
Absolutely. I'm whatever the team needs in whatever moment.
Okay.
So definitely like I can be a ball handler. I can be a spot up shooter.
Okay.
I can be a dirty work defender.
Yeah. Pat Bev.
I know. I've played ball. Let me ask you. Say what you say. If you would describe.
I'd have to agree. If I had a player to describe, who? Now that's a challenging question. That's an interesting question.
Like a comp, like a player comp.
Yeah, like a player comp. Yeah, that's an interesting question, and I have to do some digging on that one. But
for sure.
But what I would definitely say is, this man knows how to control the game. If he wants to slow it down, he's gonna slow it down.
Okay.
If he wants to speed the pace up, he's gonna push it.
There we go.
Right, and he'll drive the lane happily, or he'll spot up. He'll let me get that. And the jumper's nice. I got to give it to him. But yeah, so yeah, I got to think about that.
Yeah,
think about that.
Now I appreciate the flowers, nonetheless, man. I know we had a few runs out there, so
exactly.
I was like, before I tell you what I think, let me see what the streets talking about.
There we go.
See what they say.
See what the streets talking about, man. But yeah, I'm a utility man. I say I can play defense on anybody.
Gotcha.
As far as like lockups go, it's not too many dudes who just gonna blow past me on any possession, and that's on any level. Like I done played cats with some cats who really play ball.
Right.
You're gonna have to make 7 moves to
gonna have to
really
work.
get a clean shot off.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to work.
Okay.
And you don't get that much time in organized ball. So I don't typically get scored on a lot. So I start there.
Gotcha.
For sure.
There we go.
Also quick, man. Like my nickname's Swift. I got it from hooping back in the day. So I'm running the lanes, constantly running the lane. If I have a real guard on my team, I'm out. Gone.
Okay.
Every possession.
There we go.
I'm one of them. I don't like to guard him type of guys.
Yeah.
You're gonna be real tired.
Marathon.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be sweating like a full game in the first quarter. So you just come ready to play. You come ready to lock up.
Gotcha.
If I'm out there. As far as the jumper, man, I played at different levels, man. So the scoring has had some ebbs and flows, but I'm still a scorer at the end of the day. I like to score easy buckets more so now. Not as much of a walking highlight as I used to be, but I still get busy, man. The jumper's solid. I'm more of a mid-range. Like my mid-range is stupid. Like if I'm open for the midi, typically gonna knock that down.
Okay.
3-ball and lost a little range. Had some shoulder problems too, but I will still let it go. Trust me. Like if you're not stepping up, you gonna disrespect me. I'm letting
Can't
it
leave
go.
you.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, man. But definitely combo guard. Can be the ball handler. Don't have to be. If we got a true point, I do not want to be the point guard.
Gotcha.
But I don't mind either.
Yeah,
we need
for
somebody to control the pace so we can make sure we get a dub.
Yeah.
Take care of some key possessions. You can trust me to be there for you. And also a big rebounder, bro. Like slept on skill.
Okay.
I get a lot of rebounds.
Easy points. Easy points if you do it right.
Right.
Yeah,
Especially
and
on
that,
offense.
that's how I had some crazy numbers, bro. Like
Yeah.
rebounds, open lanes, outlet passes, bro. Decent. I got a nice little decent layup package. Left hand stupid, right hand need some work, but hey, we here.
Okay.
Standard fundamentals.
Right.
Absolutely, we still working. Yeah.
So let's go back to the acting, right?
All right.
For the inspiring actor who wants to get into this space, who wants to participate, but doesn't know how to start this journey, but they come to you and say, I need direction. I need your guidance. What advice would you provide them?
I say the advice does change based on each person, but for the average person, some starter advice that I would give them is to, one, be available. You know, it's a lot of times people come into this space, big ambitions, big hopes, big dreams, but if you're not able to show up to set, if you're not able to get the audition tape in, if you're not able to take the time out to learn it, you're not going to be booked, and you will not be, you just won't have, you'll be limited on your opportunities. So be available. That's a great starting point. 2, also just understand that you are your own personal brand, and be professional. Have good materials. Take the time out to get good materials. I'm not saying you got to break the bank on getting materials, but you do want to make sure that you do put some effort into your headshots. Like, don't just take some headshots on a cell phone and think that that's what a casting director is going to be looking for, that's casting for the next big show on BET. Like, you're not getting on Power with a cell phone headshot. Like, so just put some work in. I'd say you can be innovative in your approach to that as well. Not saying everybody has to come out with a lot of money, but be willing to invest a little something. So expect to invest in your career. That's another big note too. It's a constant investment, especially if you want to get serious, from the equipment that you need, to the classes that you need, to keeping headshots that match your look. It's just everything costs something. And, when it comes down to the space that we're working in, entertainment, it's not really cheap. It's not cheap to get people to come in and record and shoot. Like, you're gonna have to pay a little bit. So I'd just say have an open mind to that, and don't feel like you got to come into the game an expert. You really don't. You have to be willing to put shots up. If we can keep it simple, I've always had like a coaching mentality when I talk about things, and it's a numbers game. If you're getting shots up, you're gonna make some buckets. But if you're not shooting, you're not gonna score. If you're only shooting once every quarter, you're probably not gonna score. So knowing that it's a numbers game, do your part of getting good materials and covering the ground that's in front of you, whether that's being on casting platforms like, Actors Access and casting networks, or, just networking and being local in your city and being connected in those local Facebook groups and letting people know, like, hey, I'm here and I'm trying to work. Right. Because you can really create your own momentum, and it doesn't really require a lot. You can start shooting with a new photographer just to build for your portfolio, but that's also going to give you content, which is going to make it look like you've been working. Mm-hmm. And it's also going to give you experience, which is going to help you when you show up to work. So, I said, get shots up, get the reps in, whether you're getting on set as an extra, whether you're helping somebody tape an audition. If you're serious, like, it's gonna take some work, but it's a fun space to dabble in. So if you want to get into it, it's not super hard. Some steps you got to do, but it's not rocket science.
Mm-hmm. There we go. So I was gonna say, man, before we wrap up, man, we're gonna hit you with the final question of the night.
All right.
Now, we talked about this off air. We hit every guest that comes through, we hit them with the same question. Now, you got a chance to, chop it up with us, good vibes, good convo, all of that. Now, with that said, who do you think would be a good guest for the podcast in the future? But before you answer, this has to be somebody that's in your Rolodex, in your phone, that you're gonna reach out and be like, hey, I chopped it up with the 2-hour lunch break, had a ball. You got to pull up on them and do an interview. Who would that person or people be?
All right, let's see. So funny enough, a lot of my really close friends have also been on this podcast. So
okay.
that is amazing to see also. Shout outs to y'all, just doing y'all homework as far as picking out people. And it's good to know birds of a feather flock together. I'm sitting in the seats of some giants. So, it's good follow-up. So I'd say somebody who I would recommend to come here. Let me see, who really just been killing the game? I would say my set wife, Anita Knight. She's a very, very talented individual. Only trouble with that is she just left the city and headed out to Dallas. But I think she would probably make time to come do something like this as well. Very talented actress. She's also a very just hardworking woman. She's a very successful in her business as well. I think she works for like AT&T, is like a high level of something. You know what I mean? Mom, just all around great person. Another person who I think is just awesome, let me see, is probably Martika Cook, the owner of Tika Creations. She's a service for actors and models and people who are trying to get into this industry. And she's also just provides really good guidance for people and makes people feel really comfortable who don't really know much about the industry. So you need some headshots done, hit up Tika Creations for sure. But those are two people, two amazing black women who I would say, get them in here on the 2-hour lunch break podcast.
Yeah. Shout out to the Black Queen.
Shout out. Give everybody your social media so they know where to find you.
Oh yes, most definitely. You can find me at Abyon Asar. That's ABYON AUSAR on all social platforms. And man, it's been a pleasure talking to y'all on the 2-hour lunch break podcast.
All right, man. Well, that wraps up this edition of the 2-hour lunch break podcast, man. Once again, shout out to the homie Abyon for taking the time out to kick it with us.
Absolutely.
Shout out to our production behind the boards. You can find them at Cafe Yodo. Shout out to our home studio, Dawa Studios, East Austin, Texas. Episodes of the 2-hour lunch break can be found on all streaming platforms, and you can find us on Instagram at 2HLBpod and on X at the 2-hour lunch. Thank you for tuning in. We out.
Peace.
And it's coming home to Texas. It's coming home all the way to Austin, Texas, baby.